Hi, my name's Sheehan, and today I'd like to talk about First Blood, the 1982 film directed by Ted Kotcheff and of course starring Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna and Brian Dennehy. And I'd like to go through this film exploring how the plot's put together as well as some of the themes that crop up in this movie. Now, First Blood is based on a novel by David Morrell, and I guess if you could sum this film up in a sentence, it would be the devastating effects of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD as it's often called. The film's in 3 acts, and we begin with this guy called John Rambo. He served in Vietnam, and he's looking for his friend Delmore Barry, who he served with, and he finds out that his friend has died of cancer. And this seems to be one of the very few friends John Rambo has in the world. So somewhat saddened and shocked by this news, he wanders off up the road and somewhere in the northwest of America, and he's picked up by this cop called Teasel. Teasel thinks this guy's bad news, and in a somewhat prejudiced and quite a nasty way really, he tells Rambo to have a shave, and he basically drives him out of the town. But then he sees Rambo turn around and come back again. And Rambo's rather belligerent because of the way he's been treated by this cop, and he books him, he arrests him and takes him to the nearest police station. And here we meet the kind of deputy sheriff who's called Galt. He's a particularly nasty piece of work, and he's clearly got no time for Rambo, and he takes delight in giving him a cold shower for the judge the next day, and taunting him, etc. And it's while they're going to shave Rambo that Rambo has a flashback to being tortured in Nam, and he goes mad. He starts kicking and beating up everyone in sight and escapes from the police station and gets on a motorcycle and goes up the hills in it, followed by Teasel. Then Teasel and his crew go out to look for Rambo. They're getting close to him, and Rambo, of course, in that famous scene, is by a cliff. He's got nowhere to go. He's being shot at by Galt in a helicopter. So he jumps off the cliff, lands on the floor, does his arm in, etc. And it's here that he throws a stone at the chopper as well and kills Galt. So Rambo's now killed one of the police officers, and Teasel, the chief, wants his revenge. So Rambo goes off again. He pretends he's been shot, but he's not. He goes off into the woods, and the police come back with some dogs and they try and hunt for him. And here in this rather grim scene, Rambo has set these booby traps for them, and each one of them's picked off by him, including Teasel at the end, and Teasel's threatened with a knife around his throat. And then we go into Act 2. This problem's got too big for the local police, so the state police is involved now. Teasel's still very much in the frame though, and Troutman, this colonel who's in charge of Rambo during Vietnam, arrives at the scene, and he knows that Rambo's just a force unto himself, and that the police aren't able to stop him. So Troutman tries to radio Rambo. He gets through, and during this conversation over the radio, we hear that Troutman's really the only friend John Rambo's got left in the world. Rambo expresses that it's them who drew first blood. They pushed him. But Troutman says, look, turn yourself in before there's any more hassle and any more death and destruction. But then the National Guard move in. They're kind of like these part-time army guys, and they try and blow Rambo up in a mine shaft. Rambo is then forced deep underground. Everyone thinks he's dead, but he's underground being kind of gnawed at by rats, etc. And Troutman and Teasle meet in the bar and they have this discussion. Teasle apologises to Troutman. They realise that Rambo's, well, Teasle thinks Rambo's dead. Troutman's not so sure, it turns out. But then Rambo turns up again the other side of the shaft and he manages to take over this military vehicle. Rambo's heading back to town. Act 3 is the climax of the film. Rambo, back in town, just creates all kind of mayhem. He blows up a petrol station. He blows up an ammunition store. The whole town's evacuated. And we end up with just Rambo and Teasle. And Rambo manages to defeat Teasle with his brain, but also just by shooting through the roof of this building, and Teasle's hitting Teasle through his feet and his legs, and Teasle's out of the picture now. But then Troutman comes and finds Rambo. And it's here we have like the emotional climax of the film. Rambo just reveals how traumatised he is, how damaged he is psychologically and mentally. He talks about this kid during his service who's blown to pieces in front of him. And then Rambo is led away. And that's the end of the film. And it's such a powerful film. A short film, you know, concise, packs a punch, 3 acts. But my goodness, it's a really fantastic film. And, you know, the original Rambo film, First Blood, is by far the best one. Sylvester Stallone, I think, is really good in it as well, as is the supporting cast. And it's got a great song as well. It's a Long Road by Jerry Goldsmith. He's done the music generally, but the song is terrific. Yeah, so the themes that crop up in this film include post-traumatic stress disorder, which of course is very relevant today. That's, you know, what damaged Rambo, and that's kind of being acted out in his actions around him and all the destruction around him. There's a lot about police brutality in this film, this kind of small town, ignorant mentality. Troutman's very much a father figure to Rambo, so there's a very close bond between those two. And of course there's a lot about flashbacks to the Vietnam War as well. A lot about being a loner. Thank you for watching this film. Please check out the slideshow afterwards about the main themes and the structure. Bye.